If you ever remembered eating at the Highway Grill.
Yeah.
Okay. We had that for a while.
That's the one with the car
That's
on the
the one
pole?
with the car on the pole, yep. Yeah. That was my marketing tool. We'd had that business for many, many years as a highway lounge.
Yeah.
And people would ask me what you do for a living, and I'd tell them that, I take care of a place called the Highway Lounge. Well, where's that at? And I tried to explain to them how to find it.
Right.
And I decided when we made the restaurant, I needed a better way, so I found a way. And we put that car on the pole there, and I said, just head to Durango until you see that blue DeSoto on a pole, then you're there.
That's brilliant. I mean, that's exactly what I just did. Is that the one with the car on the pole?
Yep.
And that's perfect.
Something I noticed in 2019 that was difficult to see before. Tangible results to economic development in San Juan County. There have been a lot of smart people having a lot of smart conversations about economic development for a long time. But sometime shortly before 2019, those conversations seemed merged into one conversation and things started happening. I noticed that Farmington, Aztec, and Bloomfield were all on the same page with the same goals. And San Juan County was on the same page. And the BLM was on the same page. And the Navajo Nation was being brought into the conversation. And Southern Colorado was being brought into the conversation. With one mind, things were really happening. Of course, 2020 and 2021 threw a monkey wrench into a lot of plans for everybody. Since I'm more familiar with the economic development in Farmington, I decided to reach out to our neighbor, Aztec, and see what they've been doing in all of this. I contacted John Favorino, and he was more than happy to hop in the truck and give me a tour of Aztec, New Mexico, while we had a chat about economic development from Aztec's point of view. John is a local business owner and the current chairman of the Aztec Economic Advisory Board, and we're going to get an Aztec education on this ride. Want to see how it goes?
Come along for the ride in Ken's Think Tank.
Ken's Think Tank is made possible by the following sponsors. Do you need HVAC services or a tankless water heater? Four States Equipment. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four States Equipment has it all. Parts and equipment, sales and service, from restaurant equipment to heating and air conditioning. Visit fourstatesequipment.com. Ken Collins Marketing. It's simple. We help small business owners get more customers. Show our sponsors some love. If you're watching the video, show us some love by smashing the like button. And remember, the views and opinions expressed on Ken's Think Tank do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors.
You're John with an H.
J-O-H-N, yes.
Somebody was just asking me. I said, I don't really know. I think it's with an H, but
That's correct.
instead of J-O-N, it's J-O-H-N.
Yes, sir.
The right way.
Well, that's the way I've always spelled it, so I guess that's the right way for me, at least.
And we just picked you up from your office. So what do you own there?
Well, the company that we own is called 3E Energy Services.
Okay.
And we have a division called 3E Mechanical that is what we're primarily focused on right now. It's a transition away. We're general contractors. We could do a little bit of everything, but we're focusing on the mechanical side of stuff right now.
Gotcha.
Primarily industrial, oil field industrial, what have you.
Right.
We're moving into some work on safety service vehicles, i.e. police cars, fire trucks,
Nice.
things like that. There's no upfitter in this area that sells and services pumps, lights, sirens, things of that nature, what have you.
You are on the Economic Development Board?
Yes, sir.
What do you do on that
I'm
board?
currently the chairman
Okay.
of the Aztec Economic Development Advisory Board.
Cool.
And we're tasked with helping give insight, direction, different things along the lines of economic development for the City Commission. Try to give them a little bit more information gathering element.
Right.
Actually, our meeting's open to the public. Everybody's welcome to attend, and we encourage everybody that can attend, because really the more information we get, the better informed decisions we make.
Right.
One of the things that exists is a lack of good quality understanding of rules, regulations, dynamics and what have you. And the better job that we could find a way to do of informing somebody that's in business or going into business, what have you, of what the requirements are before they get into it and run into a problem, then we feel that's an important element, So more communication we get through the meetings can help us with that, help us learn things where city's done a good job, where they need to improve, things like that. So that's part of it. We also are an avenue for people that are looking for some assistance. The city does have the ability to assist financially with certain projects, depending on what they are. The state of New Mexico has an anti-donation clause in the Constitution that's very, very controlling of how government agents can spend money in relations to private sector environments.
Right.
Now, we passed in Aztec a number of years back LEDA, which stands for Local Economic Development Act.
Okay.
We passed that, which establishes some criteria that allows for us as a city to be able to assist in business that meet those certain criteria.
Okay.
So there is that possibility then that if you say you want to come to Aztec and build a new building or to buy a building and that needs a lot of work or what have you, that you're going to create some jobs, you're going to create some tax revenue and those kind of things, and it can all prove out, then you can come to the city of Aztec and work. One of the elements to do is to work through the EDAP board or community development department or what have you to apply for some of those funds to assist. And one of those things that we see a lot that is not just specific to Aztec, but really has been a significant player in like redevelopment in historic buildings and things of that nature is the fire code issues, sprinkler systems. Sprinkler systems are a very expensive upgrade for any old buildings, and it could be a deal killer.
It's tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes, easy. So, things like that if the city can find a way to help assist with some of those costs, those are the type of things that we want to try to be able to do to help people out. Go back to economic development advisory board. That is kind of the concept that we look at things. We try to advise the commission on some concepts that we think would be good direction. One of the things is recently the city of Aztec's done a new comprehensive plan, which was a pretty well developed plan that gives a lot of information of where the city is wanting to go, and there was a lot of input from the community. It's a process that took quite some time, hired an outside agency to put it all together.
Right.
And so, the board is integral in working with people like that. Just a variety of things that is business.
Right.
Things that are business related.
I'm more familiar with Farmington and its efforts, right? So, but before lockdown, I was actually seeing not just idealistic talk, but actual, like, real action being taken in cooperation between kind of everybody. Bloomfield, Farmington, Aztec, the county, other organizations. Is that still going on? Is there?
Yes, there is definitely that impetus to work together. We may be competitive with one another as communities, but not nearly as competitive as we are with the world as a whole.
Exactly.
We live in a global world. I mean, the Amazon has made it to where they're competing with every retail shop that exists. I mean, it's a whole different dynamic. And as far as San Juan County or the northwest corner of New Mexico in general, we're more closely related, like with La Plata County, the southwest corner of Colorado, than we are with Santa Fe, Bernalillo, Albuquerque dynamics, and same with them up there. They're probably more aligned with us than they are with Denver and those kind of areas. So not just, like I said, the communities in San Juan County, but local and regional dynamics really need to be a focal point of kind of how we learn to grow and work together, what have you. I mean, there's always going to be those elements where you compete with one another in certain ways. A good example of an element of competition but yet cooperation currently is City of Farmington has enacted a tax that is geared towards developing the outdoor recreation.
Yes.
Well, the City of Aztec is also interested in outdoor recreation.
Yes.
So what we need to do is work together to promote the entire community and not compete with each other on specific elements of it so much, but find areas where we fit. And one of those dynamics that I see is obviously Aztec's going to have some different geographical elements to it than City of Farmington does. So we learn how to capitalize on what we have. They capitalize on what they have, and we promote it together.
Yes. Yeah, Farmington's doing their outdoor rec stuff. You guys are doing your outdoor rec stuff. Bloomfield has that outdoor rec stuff. We all do. That's just kind of the area we live in.
Exactly.
You know? And so it becomes a destination to where you're not coming to Farmington or Aztec or whatever. You're coming to the area, and you're partaking in all that the area has to offer.
Yeah, and the goal is then instead of getting somebody to come for a day or two, they come for a week or two.
Yeah.
Because there's that much to do in this area.
Yeah.
And we know that there's competition at every level. And Durango is a much more a destination area than San Juan County is. But how important is it to know that you have that market up there, that if you can find ways to capture pieces of that market, it enhances what you have.
Right.
One of the areas that we've got to work hard on is finding people that can incorporate that into a business model and find a way to market that and build that and grow that. And
tours and things like that. Yeah.
Take a ride up here and we can go by the motocross track.
Yeah.
That is a great little facility that the City of Aztec has that doesn't necessarily exist in the other communities. So why don't we all work together to promote that, and then somebody can stay in Bloomfield or Farmington if they come for a race here, or they come to use the facilities. So that way it does a variety of things. One, it gets the facility used and the event successful here. Two, it fills rooms somewhere in the... And three is they're traveling from point A to point B, so they're going by grocery stores, restaurants, knick-knack shops, a variety of things. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got a chance to fill in some more revenue generating along the way.
Right.
So
what's probably the biggest effort that Aztec is focusing on right now for economic development?
Well, as far as a specific single thing as outdoor rec is probably coming into focus now as much as anything. We've received a grant that we're using to help develop the game plan on that. But in cooperation with that, we have two major projects that should lend a lot to helping to further economic development. The first one is well underway, actually nearing completion, hopefully before too late, the end of summer, early fall, what have you. It should be getting pretty close to being completed, is the North Main Extension. North Main Extension is basically an area that comes off the intersection of 550 and 516 that goes kind of north into the area down towards the river. Originally it was intended back, I think it was probably in the 80s is when it came up, that they were looking to extend that road with a bridge across there to tie into Ruins Road. Well, then that ended up having some opposition that ended up putting it on hold. Well, as a result, nothing developed on there for a while, and then more recently, the city has developed a plan to create more walkability, more community access to areas. And so we've created the North Main that ties into a footbridge that is already in place that goes across and allows you to walk over to the ruins.
Oh, nice.
And so you have the ability to...
because the North Main Extension is actually across the river from the ruins, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's actually a pretty quick walk that you can make and go from Main Street across the river and go to the ruins. And then farther down the river at Riverside Park there's another footbridge that crosses from Riverside Park over to Hartman Park.
Okay.
Hartman Park is where there's a bunch of ball fields, baseball fields, softball fields, soccer fields, Yaffle football fields, and what have you.
Yeah.
And so you got a footbridge there. So it gives you the ability to basically walk a loop.
Okay.
From Main Street, across the river, up to the ruins, then down along the river to Riverside Park, across to Hartman Park, and then back up to Main Street on the other end.
Nice.
And so just trying to open up the areas to allow for that ability to get out, do something healthy, you know, get around about. But also, if tourists are at Aztec ruins and they want to just take a little
take a stroll.
Little stroll, and they can go and cross the river and right up to Main Street and check some of that stuff out.
Right.
And so that was the intent of North Main, is to help tie those in together and open up some area for a little bit more development down there. So hopefully we can bring in the right kind of industry down there to help capitalize on that. So that's a big part of it. And then one other element that is in play that hopefully we'll be able to get underway before the year's out this year, as far as get it out to bid and get things ready to go, is what we call the arterial, which gives...
I've heard of that one. What is that?
Okay, the arterial actually ties in just as on the south side of Aztec, as you're coming into Aztec from Bloomfield.
Okay.
There's already a little road in place there that is at an intersection right before the Aztec Well Service Companies. There's a variety of Aztec Well Companies there.
Okay.
Right before them, there's a road that heads east from right there. Was one of the first phases.
Okay.
And that road will come around, when it's completed, come around and tie in to 173, which is what we're on now, is what we call the Navajo Dam Road.
Right.
And so that will allow for the opportunity for big trucks, oil field trucks, things of that nature, transient stuff, to circumvent around the downtown part of Aztec.
Okay.
And it gives the ability to enhance travel.
Yeah.
It gives the ability to open up more property for further development.
Oh, sure.
And one of the pluses I really hope comes of it, it allows for the city of Aztec to maybe transition its Main Street from being Highway 550 to just Main Street. Highway 550 can get the designation onto the arterial.
Right.
And so that way then the city has a little more control over its Main Street, because right now, as Highway 550, the state of New Mexico has control over what can be done there.
Yes.
And so we do that, then we can create a much more pedestrian-friendly, retail element-friendly downtown.
Right.
Turn here, we can kind of look at what North Main is, if you hadn't seen it yet.
I haven't. I drive by it all the time. Like I said, I'm driving through here to get to the lake every weekend.
There you go. Yeah, so do you want to kind of see where it ties down to the river? As we're driving around?
How do I get
Just
there?
go ahead and take a left here. We'll sneak around.
Okay.
We probably won't get in too much trouble if we do. You can kind of see how it lays out. There's going to be this turnout right here is for a bus lane.
Right.
And then they've got the covers that they're building right here that'll create an element for people can rent them and set up little shops, or they can have a little picnic or whatever. They've got a little plaza element down below, just a little bit down there on that end of it and what have you. And then it'll drive down to the bottom down here and just end into a turnaround. Yeah, so all this real estate on either side is basically up for sale or ready for development.
Right.
So hopefully that's one of the things that we can do is find a way to get somebody to come in here. One of the things I would love to see, and this is from my EDAP position, and it's kind of shooting for the moon for a little town like Aztec, but I'd love to see us find a developer that could come in and acquire all the real estate and do a development that is uniform throughout this whole area down here, because it would be an incredible next step to seeing how things could grow for the city of Aztec. So yeah, as you see, it comes down and has this loop that you just come down, turn around. There's a little parking area here at the bottom. So go ahead and pull down into that parking area. You can kind of see how that's going to lay out, and then you can see where the bridge crosses over there. if you were to stop here, you're going to be able to walk straight across, and probably about 100, 150 yards that direction is the Animas River.
Okay.
And there's a path that goes right along over to the bridge crosses over, and it comes right up to ruins. And we'll go around, and I'll show you where it comes out on the other side if you got time for that.
Yeah, let's do it.
You can go on the Aztec's website. There's actually cameras up that show progress of the development of it.
Cool.
There's a lot of, everything that is open on this is open. You can kind of see how they've got the little Zia element.
Yeah.
A little bit of that incorporated in the design there for the plaza. So yeah, this is where you can kind of walk down from the ruins and go down to the river, walk along the river, and it'll take you down to Riverside Park.
Okay.
So that's where it goes on the other side. But we go on up here a ways, and you'll take a right, and you'll see where the bridge comes across the river on the other end of it. And this is just kind of through a residential neighborhood on this end of it here, where you come out of Aztec ruins back towards the main element. But yeah, I mean, we're blessed to have Aztec ruins. I don't know how many people are familiar with it from around here, from actually coming to visit it. There's a lot of times that's one of those things that happens again, is it's right in your backyard, and you tend to forget about it. And it's a World Heritage Site. I mean, it's truly is a pretty phenomenal. It has the only fully restored Great Kiva in the American Southwest.
Right.
Okay, here's where it crosses the road here.
Okay.
And you got the path, and there's the footbridge that takes you right across.
Nice.
From where we were just on the other side. And literally you can kind of see just through those trees right there is where we were parked on the other side. So it's a short little walk, really.
That's a cool little bridge, too. Mm-hmm. That path is all lined out with rocks, really nice.
Yeah, it's all paved and
very nice.
Very comfortable, very good. And it gives you a chance to see a lot of wildlife and stuff. There's a lot of deer and things down in this area, so gives you a chance to check all that out.
A little bit reminds me of our Animas Park kind of area down in there.
Yeah, it has a lot of similarities to that. The trails along Berg Park and all that stuff through there. If you go on straight here, we'll run down to Riverside Park, and we'll show you where the bridge comes across on the other side.
Okay.
Kind of gives you the full loop of what we're looking at. Have you been to Riverside Park before?
No.
Well, it's a great little park down here. We've got, obviously playgrounds. There's a little pond. It's a fishing pond. They stock this pond, so it's a great pond to have little kids, or you just want to come sink a hook into a fish. You're more than welcome to come down and do it. It's a great environment for that. They have a lot of good events down here. The Celtic festivals down here. They have it every year in the fall,
the Highland Games?
The Highland Games, in the past, we've had Blues Fest that was down here that was a great success, blues music and what have you. So it's a great environment to be able to do that stuff. You've got, obviously, the Animas runs right along the edge of it here.
On the river.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful place. You can walk right on down to the river in many different locations here. Walk across the river, get wet, you can fish in the river. So there's an arena down here. For many years they had ropings down here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was real young, I used to rodeo down here, steer riding, little stuff like that. They've had Jim Kahana's down here where they have the little guys barrel race and pole bend and stuff like that. So
yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, and it's not far from Aztec. And again, the walkability, you could walk from here and you could be on Main Street in about 10-15 minutes just walking.
Here's a bridge.
Yep, this is the other bridge. This crosses the river on what I would call the south end of the trail loop. And again, it's very safe. It's a well-built design to, walk across and not worry about little kids falling off the edge or what have you,
Yeah, I mean that's not a rickety little bridge.
Yeah,
that's a full-on developed bridge right there.
Yeah. And you can see the sidewalk that'll take you back up to where the bridges were. Walk you right under the old money-saving bridge.
Yeah.
And here's the arena.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this stuff was over here.
Yep. They've got, I believe, some horseshoe pits over there. You can see the basketball courts over there. You got a volleyball net set up on the backside over there, close to the river on that other side. Go and turn here. We can go show you where that bridge comes across the other side. It'll just kind of finish the loop so you can see where it's at, if you don't mind, if you got time for it. And this where we're headed to is what we call Hartman Park. One of the nice parts about having that bridge from Riverside to Hartman Park is when you have tournaments, when you have things like that, it gives you a little bit of ability for overflow. You can park on one side and walk across to the other. Same thing if you have a big event over at Riverside, you can use some of the parking and accessibility here.
Right.
Down here we also even got the skate park. So
nice.
You've got all the baseball and softball fields up here, then you got the skate park right here in between. And then it opens up down to the soccer and football fields down below here. And then kind of complete the circle is this where the bridge is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Across back on this side.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, man. That's perfect overflow on either side.
Yeah, as you can see, I mean, we were just right there.
It's just a really short little bridge just right across the river. So very cool.
So you get being right downtown and you still get a very good rural feel.
Yeah.
You know, having all this stuff immediately accessible like that. All right.
Well, man, I appreciate it. I got an Aztec education out of this, right?
Well, you got a small piece of it is you know, if you'd had 2 or 3 days to ride around with me, I'd probably kept talking the whole time.
Get a degree out of it. Yeah, this is brilliant. I saw some things in Aztec that I didn't even know existed. I saw some things in Aztec that I knew existed, but I never, took the.
And you see them a little different.
Yeah, yeah.
And yet you still got so much more you can see to understand it.
Right.
Clearly, to see what's there. And that's something we all need to remember wherever we're at.
Yeah. To take advantage of those things.
You look and see what's around you and participate in the life in which you're existing, and you'll be a much happier, healthier person if you become one with that in which you exist.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, Kim.
Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Ken's Think Tank is made possible with help from these fine sponsors: Basin Home Health and Hospice,